Sometimes life feels like a perfect puzzle, every piece fitting seamlessly until one falls, and the whole picture crumbles. That's exactly how Anna, a 32-year-old photographer, saw her world collapse. She was a gifted artist with her own studio in the heart of Austin, Texas, where she captured the soul of weddings, birthdays, and moments people wanted to preserve forever. Her warm smile and infectious energy put everyone at ease, as if she had a gift for turning ordinary moments into vivid memories. Anna lived with Ben, her boyfriend of 8 years, a charismatic architect who seemed to share her dreams. They shared a cozy loft in the vibrant East Austin neighborhood, adorned with photos she'd taken on their travels together. Life felt like a modern fairy tale, with plans for a future together until a tragedy shattered everything. Hannah was 5 months pregnant with their first daughter, Lily, when a routine ultrasound revealed the baby's heart had stopped. The loss was a crushing blow. Anna sank into a deep depression, the colors that once filled her life fading to gray. Ben tried to support her at first, but his efforts were clumsy, as if he didn't know how to handle pain he couldn't fix. Anna's mother, Margaret, a practical and blunt woman, urged her to pull herself together, saying life went on and other children would come. Those words, though meant to help, only deepened Anna's emptiness. She began to withdraw from her photography sessions, cancelling bookings and locking herself in her room, staring at the ceiling, searching for meaning in what she'd lost. Her friends, especially Rachel, her confidant since college, tried to pull her out of that abyss, but Anna felt no one understood the depth of her grief. Rachel, a therapist working at a local non-profit, suggested counselling, but Anna resisted, saying talking wouldn't bring Lily back. Ben, meanwhile, grew increasingly distant. He came home late from work, citing endless meetings, and when he was home, he barely spoke to Anna. She noticed his impatient glances, as if her sadness was a burden he didn't want to carry. Still, Anna clung to the hope that their love, built over so many years, could overcome any obstacle. She decided to take action to rekindle their spark. She planned a surprise, a special dinner on the rooftop of their building with fairy lights, a playlist of songs that marked their history, and a bold proposal. Anna wanted to ask Ben to marry her. It wasn't conventional, but she believed formalizing their commitment could be the fresh start they needed. On the night of the dinner, the rooftop was perfect. The city lights of Austin twinkled in the background, and the scent of honeysuckle from a nearby trellis filled the air. Anna wore a navy dress Ben loved, her heart racing as she waited for him. When Ben arrived, he was visibly surprised. He complimented her effort, but his eyes seemed distant, as if something was troubling him. After dinner, Anna took a deep breath and pulled a small box from her pocket, revealing 2 silver rings. Ben, we've been through so much together. I love you. And even with everything that's happened, I want to build our life side by side. Will you marry me? Her voice trembled, but her gaze was steady. Ben was silent for what felt like an eternity. Then, with a smile that didn't reach his eyes, he said, Anna, this is unexpected. Of course I'll marry you. You know how much I love you. They embraced, but Anna sensed something off in his hesitation. Still, she chose to believe it was just the shock of the moment. In the days that followed, news of the engagement spread. Margaret wept with joy, already planning the ceremony, while friends sent congratulatory texts. Rachel, however, seemed reserved. During a coffee meet-up downtown, she pulled Anna aside and said cautiously, Anna, are you sure about this? Ben's been so distant. I'm not sure he's ready for this step. Anna was hurt by the implication. Rachel, Ben, and she had been friends since college, along with another friend, Daniel, who'd moved to a small town in West Texas after a brief romance with Rachel ended. Rachel's doubt felt unfair, but it planted a seed of uncertainty in Anna's mind. Was Ben truly committed to their future? Despite this, she pushed forward with wedding plans, determined to prove their love was stronger than any doubt. The ceremony was set at a charming ranch outside Austin, with an altar decorated with sunflowers, Anna's favorite flower. On the wedding day, she walked down the aisle to an acoustic version of a song she loved, her heart full of hope. Ben waited at the altar in a sharp grey suit, but his eyes seemed to avoid hers. During the reception, Anna noticed Rachel talking to a man she didn't immediately recognize. Their conversation looked tense, and the man left quickly. Later, while looking for Ben, she found him alone in the ranch's garden, his face strained. "Everything okay?" she asked, taking his hand. "Just needed some air." "Too many people, you know," he replied, forcing a smile. Anna accepted his explanation, but something inside her warned there was more he wasn't saying. The days after the wedding were a mix of euphoria and unease for Anna. Their honeymoon was planned for a small town in the Texas Hill Country, Fredericksburg, known for its rolling vineyards and quaint German charm, perfect for a quiet retreat. Anna hoped those days with Ben would reignite the connection that had weakened since Lily's loss. The bed and breakfast they chose was charming, with rooms in soft pastel tones and windows opening to fields of wildflowers. Despite the depression that still lingered, Anna felt a spark of hope walking through those fragrant halls. She planned their days carefully, strolls through vineyards, picnics by a nearby river, and a visit to a local art studio where she could take photos, something she hadn't done since the tragic diagnosis. Ben, however, seemed detached from her enthusiasm. He spent long stretches on his phone, responding to messages with a tense expression, and his replies to Anna's suggestions were curt, almost automatic. "Sounds good, Anna. You decide," he'd say, barely looking up. Still, she tried not to let it shake her. After all, she thought, he was processing their loss in his own way. Maybe he just needed time. Wanting to bring some lightness to the trip, Anna invited Rachel to join them for a weekend. Rachel had always been her anchor, the one who listened without judgment, and Anna believed her friend's presence might ease the tension. "Rachel, come down. There's an amazing sunflower field, and we can have a picnic like old times," she said over the phone, with an excitement she hadn't felt in months. Rachel hesitated briefly but agreed. "All right, Anna. I'll figure out a way to come Saturday. Send me the address." Her voice was warm, but there was a hint of something Anna couldn't quite place, a tone that left her slightly uneasy. When Rachel arrived at the B&B, carrying a weekend bag and a shy smile, Anna rushed to hug her. "I missed you. Look at this place, isn't it perfect?" she exclaimed, gesturing to the wildflowers dotting the courtyard. Rachel complimented the scenery, but her eyes flicked quickly to Ben, who was sitting in a rocking chair in the garden, engrossed in his phone. "Hey, Ben," she said with a quick wave. He mumbled a response, not looking up. Anna brushed off the awkwardness and showed Rachel to the guest room, a cozy space with a floral quilt and a window facing the horizon. "So, how's the honeymoon going? Ben treating you right?" Rachel asked, her tone a mix of playfulness and something more serious. Anna laughed, trying to keep things light. "He's been a bit in his own world, you know. Probably work, or maybe he's still processing everything. But we're good. We'll figure it out." Rachel just nodded, her expression unreadable. That afternoon, the three of them set out to explore a nearby lavender field. The sun was gentle, the air heavy with the scent of flowers. Anna walked ahead, snapping photos with her camera, something she hadn't done since losing Lily. Each click felt like a small step toward reclaiming herself. Rachel and Ben trailed behind, talking quietly. At times, Anna glanced back and caught Rachel whispering something to Ben, who responded with restrained gestures. She tried to dismiss it, chalking it up to their old college friendship. After all, the three of them, along with Daniel, had been inseparable back then. After an hour's walk, they reached a riverbank framed by oaks. Anna kicked off her shoes and dipped her toes in the cool water, laughing loudly. "Ben, come on! It's cold but feels amazing," she called, waving. He glanced at her, hesitant, before pocketing his phone. "Checking some work stuff, but I'm coming," he said, his tone sounding more like an excuse. Rachel, however, joined Anna, splashing water with her feet and laughing like they were kids again. For a moment, everything felt perfect, but Anna couldn't ignore the glances Rachel and Ben exchanged when they thought she wasn't looking. That night, after dinner at a local diner known for its peach cobbler, Anna felt the tension grow. Ben was quieter than ever, and Rachel steered clear of deeper topics, sticking to funny college stories. Back at the B&B, Anna decided to rest, but Ben chose to stay in the garden, saying he needed to clear his head. Rachel said she'd take a walk to explore the town. Alone in the room, Anna lay down, but sleep wouldn't come. She kept thinking about the subtle changes in Ben since Lily's loss. He seemed to carry a weight he wouldn't share, and Rachel's presence meant to bring joy only heightened her unease. The next morning, Anna woke determined to make the day special. She prepared a breakfast of fresh fruit from a local market, setting the table with care. When Rachel and Ben joined her, the mood felt lighter. "How about a bike ride today? There's a trail to a lookout with an incredible view," she suggested, injecting enthusiasm into her voice. Ben nodded in agreement, and Rachel smiled, saying she loved the idea. During the ride, Anna pedaled ahead, feeling the breeze on her face and a freedom she hadn't known in ages. Rachel and Ben followed, and once again, she caught them exchanging looks and whispers. This time, something in her snapped. She stopped her bike abruptly, turning to face them. "Is something going on I don't know about? You've both been acting strange since Rachel got here," she said, her voice steady but trembling with emotion. Ben paled and Rachel looked down. "Anna, it's not like that. We're just talking about old times," Rachel said hesitantly. Ben nodded silently, adding nothing. Anna took a deep breath, deciding not to press further, but the seed of doubt had taken root. That night, as they prepared for bed, Anna tried talking to Ben. "Are you happy, love? I know it's been a tough time, but I want us to be honest with each other," she said, holding his hand. Ben looked at her, his expression a mix of guilt and exhaustion. "I'm happy, Anna. I just need time to adjust. I promise it'll be okay." He pulled her into a hug, but Anna felt something was off. As she curled up beside him, a growing unease settled in her chest, as if fate was about to reveal something she wasn't ready to face. The morning sun in Fredericksburg seemed to promise renewal, but for Anna, each new day brought a heavier weight of doubt. The unease from her talk with Ben lingered, refusing to fade. She tried to convince herself it was just her own insecurities, amplified by the depression that still haunted her since losing Lily. But the furtive glances between Ben and Rachel, their hushed conversations and Ben's growing distance, made her question everything she believed about their love. Anna decided she needed answers, but wasn't ready to confront Ben directly. Instead, she chose to observe, trust her instincts, and look for clues to confirm or dispel her suspicions. That Sunday, Rachel's last day at the B&B, Anna planned a special outing for the three of them. They'd visit a local flower festival, an annual tradition drawing visitors from across the hill country. Fredericksburg's streets were draped with petal garlands, the air thick with the sweet scent of roses and lilies. Anna, camera around her neck, felt a spark of inspiration capturing the vibrant arrangements. Each click was a small act of defiance against the darkness threatening to consume her. She wanted to reconnect with her passion for photography, something Lily's loss had stolen. As they wandered through the festival, Anna noticed Ben and Rachel keeping a calculated distance, but it felt forced, as if they were trying too hard to seem natural. At a craft stall, where Anna examined a hand-painted pottery vase, she saw Rachel lightly touch Ben's arm while pointing at a floral display. The gesture was subtle, but carried an intimacy that made Anna's heart race. She pretended not to notice, but her mind raced, piecing together a puzzle she dreaded completing. Late that afternoon, they stopped at a quaint cafe with outdoor tables overlooking a sunflower field. Anna ordered an orange juice, while Ben and Rachel chose coffees. The conversation revolved around college memories, but Anna sensed a forced tone, as if they were avoiding awkward silences. She decided to take a risky step. "Rachel, remember Daniel? It's been forever since we heard from him. Have you talked to him since he moved to West Texas?" she asked casually, watching her friend's reaction. Rachel choked slightly on her coffee, wiping her mouth before answering. "Daniel? No, it's been years. He kind of vanished, right? Probably busy with his crafts." Her reply came too quickly, and Anna caught a slight quiver in her voice. Ben stared at his cup, avoiding the topic. The seed of doubt began to sprout. That night, as they prepared for dinner at the B&B, Anna had an encounter that changed everything. She'd gone to a local bakery to buy fresh bread, a habit that soothed her since the days she dreamed of Lily's arrival. The warm scent of sourdough filled the air, and she nearly bumped into a man carrying a shopping basket. Looking up, her heart stopped for a moment. It was Daniel, their college friend, who distanced himself after his breakup with Rachel. He looked different, shorter hair, a neat beard, but his shy smile was the same. "Anna, my God, it's been forever," he exclaimed, genuinely surprised. Anna felt a wave of nostalgia, but also a burning curiosity. "Daniel, I can't believe it. What are you doing here?" she asked, keeping her tone light. He explained he now lived in a nearby town running a small craft shop and was in Fredericksburg to deliver pottery to a client. Their chat started casually, but Anna seized the moment. "You were at our wedding, right? I swear I saw you from afar but couldn't find you after," she said, watching his face. Daniel hesitated, rubbing the back of his neck, a gesture she remembered from college. "Yeah, I was there, but I didn't stay long. Things got complicated, you know." He chose his words carefully. Anna pressed, heart pounding. "Complicated how?" Daniel sighed, glancing around as if to ensure they were alone. "Anna, I didn't want to tell you this, but you deserve to know. At the wedding, I saw something that gutted me. Rachel and Ben, they were together in the ranch's garden, kissing. Rachel and I had been talking again, and I thought maybe we had a shot, but after that I cut contact and left." His words hit like a punch to the stomach. Anna felt the ground vanish beneath her. Ben, her husband, the man she'd dreamed of building a family with, and Rachel, her best friend, the person she trusted above all, had betrayed her. She tried to stay composed, but her hands shook as she gripped the bread bag. "You're sure, Daniel? Could it have been a mistake?" she asked, voice nearly breaking. He shook his head, his expression heavy with regret. "I wish it was, Anna. I saw it with my own eyes. I'm sorry for telling you like this, but you needed to know." Anna thanked him, voice choked, and said goodbye quickly, claiming she had to get back to the B&B. On the walk back, her mind was a storm. The betrayal was a blow she hadn't expected, especially so soon after the wedding. She decided to proceed carefully but needed proof. Back at the B&B, she texted Ben, saying she'd stay in town longer for a craft fair. It was a lie to test them. She entered the room quietly, heart in her throat, and what she saw confirmed her worst fears. Ben and Rachel were on the balcony, wrapped in an embrace, speaking in low tones. When Anna opened the door, they sprang apart, guilt written on their faces. "Anna, it's not what it looks like," Ben exclaimed, raising his hands as if he could erase what she'd seen. Rachel tried to speak, but her words were jumbled. "Anna, please let me explain." Anna felt a searing anger mixed with deep pain. "Explain what? That you both betrayed me? That my best friend and my husband are sneaking around behind my back?" Her voice shook, tears streaming down her face. Ben tried to approach, but she stepped back. "Don't come near me. You've destroyed me," she said, before turning and running out of the room. She grabbed the keys to their rental car and drove aimlessly, her mind clouded by betrayal. Tears blurred her vision, and despair consumed her. Without realizing, she sped past the limit, trying to escape the suffocating pain. On a sharp curve, the car skidded, and she lost control. It rolled, and everything went black. When Anna woke, she was in a hospital, her body aching and mind foggy. A nurse explained she'd been in a serious accident, but miraculously had no major fractures. Yet the emotional impact of the betrayal seemed to amplify her depression. Ben appeared at the hospital hours later, pale and guilt-ridden. He tried to take her hand, but Anna pulled away. "How could you, Ben? I trusted you," she whispered, voice weak. He stammered apologies, saying he didn't know how things had spiraled, but Anna didn't want to hear it. Over the next few days, as she recovered, Ben grew more distant. He claimed he couldn't handle the intensity of the situation, her depression, now the accident. One afternoon, while Anna was still in the hospital, he showed up with a suitcase. "Anna, I can't do this anymore. You're so different now, and I don't know how to help you. I need time." Without waiting for a reply, he took her to a remote ranch owned by a family friend and left her there with a few clothes and a note saying he'd return when she was better. Alone in an unfamiliar place, Anna felt the weight of betrayal and abandonment. But in that moment of despair, a spark of resolve began to grow. She wouldn't let this pain define her. Something new was about to begin. The ranch where Ben left Anna was a place forgotten by time, tucked among rolling hills in the Texas Panhandle. The weathered wooden house, with its mossy shingle roof, seemed to whisper stories of another era, but for Anna, it was only a mirror of her loneliness. The silence of the night was broken only by the chirping of crickets and the wind rustling the mesquite trees. Alone with a suitcase holding a few clothes and Ben's cold note, she felt the weight of abandonment like a stone crushing her chest. The depression, a constant companion since Lily's loss, now loomed like a storm threatening to swallow her whole. Yet, deep within, something refused to give up. Anna had always been resilient, even if she sometimes forgot it. That first night, sitting on the ranch's porch under a vast starry sky, she made a vow to herself. She wouldn't let the betrayal of Ben and Rachel, or the pain of her loss, define who she was. It wouldn't be easy, but she'd find a way. The days that followed were a quiet struggle. The ranch had no cell signal, and the nearest town was miles away. Still weakened from the accident, Anna had to make do with what was there. A pantry of basic supplies, a rusty old bicycle, and her camera, which had miraculously survived the crash. At first, she could barely get out of bed. The depression pulled her down, whispering that there was no point in going on. But one bright morning, when sunlight slipped through the tattered curtains of the living room, something shifted. She picked up her camera, almost instinctively, and stepped into the yard. The wildflowers growing haphazardly around the ranch caught her eye, small, fragile, but vibrant, as if defying the place's neglect. Anna aimed her lens and clicked. The shutter's sound was like a wake-up call. Each photo she took brought a piece of herself back, as if art could stitch together the wounds of her soul. Over the next few weeks, Anna explored the ranch and its surroundings. She found a creek hidden behind a grove, its clear water reflecting the sky. She discovered a trail leading to a natural lookout, where she could see hills stretching to the horizon. Each outing was a small act of courage. She began jotting down her thoughts in a notebook found in the house, writing about the pain, the betrayal, but also the small victories. The day she managed to bike to the nearby town, or when she cooked a pot of chili that reminded her of childhood at her grandmother's. Those notes became her sanctuary, a place to be honest with herself. One day, while buying supplies in town, Anna met Mrs. Helen, a 70-year-old woman who ran a small general store with whitewashed walls and a smile that felt like a warm embrace. Helen, with her simple wisdom, saw the sadness in Anna's eyes and, without prying, began inviting her for coffee. "Darling, life's like this coffee, sometimes bitter, but if you sweeten it with care, it's downright delicious," Helen said, pouring a steaming cup. Anna laughed for the first time in weeks, feeling a warmth that wasn't just from the drink. Their chats became regular, and Helen, who'd lost her husband years before, shared stories of resilience that resonated with Anna. It was Helen who suggested she join a community group in town, where locals gathered to plan cultural events and support each other. Anna hesitated but decided to give it a try. In the group, she met people carrying their own scars. There was Tom, a carpenter battling anxiety after his business failed, and Laura, a young single mother grieving the loss of a child. Together they organized craft fairs, open mic nights, and workshops for kids. Anna brought her camera to the gatherings, capturing the raw beauty of the community. A child's grin with paint on their hands, the spark in Tom's eyes as he finished a chair, Laura's embrace with her daughter. Each photo reminded her that life, even wounded, could still be beautiful. Slowly, Anna began to share her story. During an open mic night, as a guitar strummed under lantern light, she read a passage from her notebook about losing Lily and Ben's abandonment. Her words came out shaky, but the group's respectful silence wrapped her like a hug. Laura, tears in her eyes, took her hand and said, "You're stronger than you know, Anna. We don't get over the pain, but we learn to dance with it." Those words stuck with her. She started attending therapy sessions recommended by Rachel before the betrayal, seeing them now in a new light. The therapist, a woman named Diane, helped her understand that depression wasn't weakness, but a human response to devastating loss. Anna learned techniques to cope with the darker days and began to view her journey as a rebuilding, not a defeat. One day, while setting up a photo exhibit for the town's fair, Anna got an unexpected call. It was Daniel, who'd heard through mutual friends that she was in town, involved with the community. "Anna, I saw your photos on the fair's website. You're doing incredible things," he said, with genuine admiration. Anna felt a mix of surprise and gratitude. She invited him to the exhibit and he agreed to come. When he arrived, he brought a gift, a ceramic vase he'd crafted, etched with sunflowers. "Thought it suited you," he said with a shy smile. Daniel's presence brought an unexpected lightness. He wasn't the impulsive college kid anymore, but a man who'd found purpose in crafting and the simplicity of small-town life. During the exhibit, he helped Anna arrange her photos and chatted with visitors, praising her work. For the first time in months, Anna felt someone saw her not as a victim of her pain, but as a woman capable of creating beauty. The exhibit was a hit, and Anna's photos spread across the town's social media, catching the eye of people from nearby towns. A local paper ran a story about the event, highlighting Anna's talent and her story of overcoming. She read it with tears in her eyes, not of sorrow but of pride. She was starting to recognize herself again, not as the broken woman Ben had left behind, but as someone who could turn pain into art. In the months that followed, Anna dove deeper into the community. She started teaching photography workshops for kids, showing them how to capture their world through a lens. Each smile from her students reminded her she was building something new, but the past still lingered. One night, while sorting her photos, she found an old picture of Ben from a picnic before Lily's loss. The pain returned, but this time Anna breathed deeply and put the photo away. She didn't want to erase the past, but she wouldn't let it define her. The ranch, once a symbol of abandonment, was now her home. She painted the walls, planted a sunflower garden, and turned the porch into a makeshift studio. Each day she felt she was writing a new chapter, but something told her the story still held surprises. She didn't know that soon. The whole world would know her name, and that Ben, the man who'd left her behind, would face the strength of a woman he'd underestimated. The weeks at the ranch transformed Anna in ways she never thought possible. What was once a place of abandonment now pulsed with life, as if the old wooden house had absorbed her resolve. The sunflower garden she'd planted began to bloom, its yellow petals glowing under the panhandle sun, a reflection of the light she was slowly rekindling within. Anna spent her days between teaching photography workshops in town, chatting with Mrs. Helen at the general store, and writing in her notebook where she recorded not just the pain but the dreams taking root. Depression still visited in quiet moments or long nights, but now she knew how to face it. Like an old acquaintance she no longer feared. Her camera, once forgotten, became an extension of her soul. Every photo she took in town, of kids running in the square, artisans shaping pottery, the sunset painting the hills orange, was a step toward healing. Anna began to see beauty where she once saw only ashes, and it felt like Lily was still with her, guiding her through the lens. One day, while preparing a new exhibit for the town's fair, Anna got a call that would change her story's course. It was a producer from Austin who'd seen her photos in the local paper and was struck by how she captured the town's spirit. "Anna, I'm Carla from Hill Country magazine. We are planning a special issue on resilience stories from rural Texas, and your photos are perfect. Would you be up for an interview and a bigger exhibit in the city?" Carla's voice brimmed with excitement, and Anna, stunned, could barely respond. She agreed, heart racing, sensing something big on the horizon. The news spread fast through town, and the community group buzzed with pride. Mrs. Helen, ever maternal, insisted on baking a pecan pie to celebrate. "Darling, you're showing the world what this town's got and what you've got too," she said, hugging Anna tightly. Tom, the carpenter, built wooden frames for her photos, while Laura organized a town event to raise funds for Anna's trip to Austin. The community's support was like a balm, filling the void left by Ben and Rachel. Daniel, who'd become a steady presence since the last exhibit, pitched in too. He helped Anna pick her best photos and suggested adding a caption to each telling its story. "You're not just taking pictures, Anna. You're telling these people's lives, and yours too," he said, as they worked on the ranch's porch. Anna smiled, realizing how much Daniel's presence made her feel seen. He didn't treat her as a victim, but as an artist with something valuable to share. Their connection grew, subtle but undeniable, like a seedling in fertile soil. As the Austin exhibit neared, Anna threw herself into preparations. She spent nights reviewing photos, writing captions that blended poetry and truth, and rehearsing for the interview. Therapy with Diane helped her stay grounded, especially when anxiety crept in. "You're building a new version of yourself, Anna. It's not about erasing the past, but painting a future with the colors you choose, Diane said in a session, and those words became her mantra. Anna felt for the first time in months that she was in control of her own story. The day of the exhibit arrived, and Austin buzzed with an energy Anna hadn't felt in years. The event was set in a gallery in the South Congress district, with white walls and soft lighting that made her photos pop. Each image told a story: a child's grin holding a paintbrush, the tired but hopeful gaze of a farmer, an elderly couple dancing at the town's open mic night. At the center was a special photo, a lone sunflower at the ranch captioned, "For Lily, who taught me to find light in the darkness." The room was packed with journalists, photographers, and onlookers moved by the images and stories. The Hill Country magazine interview was a moment of vulnerability and strength. Anna spoke about losing Lily, Ben and Rachel's betrayal, and how the ranch, meant to be her exile, became her refuge. The pain doesn't vanish, but it can be transformed. Every photo I took was a way to turn my pain into something that could inspire others, she said, voice steady but full of feeling. The crowd applauded, and Anna felt warm tears fall, this time from gratitude. After the exhibit, Carla introduced her to a publisher, interested in a book of her photos and captions. "Your images have soul, Anna. They speak to people. We want to share your story across Texas," said the publisher, a bright-eyed woman named Fiona. Anna agreed instantly, feeling this was the start of something bigger than she'd ever dreamed. In the months that followed, Anna's life transformed. The book, titled Light in the Shadows, became an unexpected hit, selling out its first run in weeks. Her photos and words touched hearts across Texas, and she got invites to speak and teach workshops in cities like Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio. The town of Fredericksburg beamed with pride for their adopted daughter, and the ranch, now spruced up with community help, became a hub for local artists. Anna also started a social project, offering free photography workshops to kids from underserved communities, teaching them to tell their stories through art. Daniel stayed by her side, not as a savior, but as a partner who believed in her potential. Their friendship evolved naturally, without rush, into something deeper. One night as they walked through the sunflower garden, Daniel took her hand and said, "Anna, you inspire me, not just for what you do, but for who you are." Anna smiled, her heart light for the first time in ages. She wasn't ready for new love, but she knew Daniel would be there when she was, respecting her pace. Life finally seemed to align. But fate had one more surprise. One afternoon, while planning a new workshop, Anna got a call from a national TV network. They wanted her on a morning show to share her story live with millions. It was a chance to spread her message of resilience even further. Anna accepted, nervous but determined. She didn't know that same week, Ben, now living a dull life in Austin, would turn on the TV and see the face of the woman he'd abandoned, shining with a strength he'd never imagined. The TV studio in Austin was a whirlwind of bright lights, cameras gliding on tracks, and a frenetic energy that contrasted with the calm Anna had found in Fredericksburg. Sitting in the guest chair, microphone clipped to the navy dress she'd chosen with care, her heart beat fast but not from fear. It was the thrill of a rare opportunity to share her story with millions, turning her pain into a beacon of hope. The host, a charismatic man with a smile that warmed the audience, introduced her with gusto. "Today we have a story that'll touch your hearts. Anna Lopes, a photographer who turned loss and abandonment into art and inspiration. Welcome, Anna." The studio crowd cheered and she smiled, soaking in the moment's warmth. As she recounted her journey, losing Lily, Ben, and Rachel's betrayal, the accident, the abandonment at the ranch, and her rebirth through photography, Anna saw teary eyes in the audience. She spoke of how Fredericksburg's community embraced her, how Mrs. Helen, Tom, and Laura became her new family, and how each photo was a step toward finding meaning again. "I learned that pain doesn't define us. What we do with it does," she said, voice firm but brimming with emotion. The host, visibly moved, asked, "Anna, what would you say to someone going through a dark time like you did?" She took a deep breath, looking straight at the camera. "I'd say, don't give up on yourself. Even when everything feels lost, there's a light inside you that never goes out. Take one step, no matter how small, and it'll shine." The studio erupted in applause, and Anna felt a wave of gratitude. She was no longer the abandoned woman, but a voice echoing hope. After the show, social media exploded. The interview clip went viral, and the hashtag #LightInTheShadows, inspired by her book, trended nationwide. People across Texas shared her story, sent messages of support, and asked to see her photos. The publisher of Light in the Shadows announced a new print run, and Anna was invited to events in cities like Fort Worth, El Paso, and Corpus Christi, including a talk at a cultural festival in San Antonio, sharing the stage with artists and activists. Fredericksburg celebrated like the victory was theirs too, and Mrs. Helen threw a community barbecue to watch the show's rerun. Surrounded by her new friends, Anna felt she'd found a home, not just at the ranch, but in the bonds she'd built. Meanwhile, in Austin, Ben watched the interview on the TV in his cramped, messy apartment. He'd left Fredericksburg after abandoning Anna, returning to a life that felt hollow. His fling with Rachel hadn't lasted. Guilt and a lack of true connection tore them apart weeks after the incident. Now, seeing Anna on the screen, with a spark in her eyes he'd never known, Ben felt regret mixed with awe. He tried reaching out, sending a timid text. "Anna, saw you on TV, you're incredible, sorry for everything." But Anna, reading it, just sighed and deleted it. The past had no hold on her anymore. Back in Fredericksburg, Anna dove into her social project, which was growing bigger. With the success of her book and exhibit, she secured sponsors to expand her photography workshops to underserved communities across Texas. She formed a team with Laura and other volunteers, creating a support network for kids who, like her, needed a voice through art. Each workshop reminded her that her pain had a greater purpose, to inspire others to rise. Daniel, now a cornerstone in her life, helped organize events and brought his own craft to the projects. One night, during an open mic at the ranch, with lanterns lighting the sunflower garden, Daniel pulled her aside. "Anna, I know you're focused on yourself, and that's beautiful. But I'm here no matter what. You've changed my life, and I just want to make you smile every day." He held her hand, and Anna felt her heart warm. For the first time, she let herself imagine a future with someone who saw her fully. Not just her scars, but her strength. "Daniel, you already do," she replied, her smile saying more than words. The final surprise came months later, when Anna was invited to an international exhibit in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Her photos, born as a personal refuge, were now crossing borders, carrying her story to the world. The night before her trip, she threw a farewell party at the ranch, gathering the whole community. Mrs. Helen, teary-eyed, gave her a sunflower-shaped pendant. "To remind you where you came from, and that you can bloom anywhere," she said. Anna hugged her, feeling she carried Fredericksburg with her. In Santa Fe, the exhibit was a triumph, and Anna was applauded after sharing her story. But the most poignant moment came when a young woman in the audience, eyes wet, approached her and said, "I lost my sister 2 years ago, and your story gave me the courage to keep going. Thank you." In that moment, Anna knew her journey was worth it. Back in Texas, she continued her work, but with a new perspective. The ranch, once a place of abandonment, became a cultural hub where artists and kids gathered to create and dream. Anna and Daniel, now officially a couple, built a life together based on respect and partnership. She never forgot Lily, but she turned that pain into a legacy of love and inspiration. Years later, Anna released a second book, Bloom Always, dedicated to the community that saved her and the people who found hope in her story. In every talk, she repeated, "Life can knock us down, but we choose how we rise." Hey, you who followed this story to the end, how about joining our family? Subscribe to the channel, drop a like to warm our hearts, and share with anyone who needs a dose of inspiration. What did you think of Anna's journey? From 0 to 10, what's your score? Tell us in the comments. Your thoughts make all the difference.